Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, students. Hope you are all good. In your previous lecture, you have been taught in details about sympathetic nervous system. You know when and how sympathetic nervous system act. What are different neurotransmitters related to sympathetic nervous system? What are adrenergic receptors? Where they are located? And what are what are different pharmacological effects that they show on different systems of the body when these neurotransmitters bind to these adrenergic receptors? Today our topic of discussion is sympathomimetics. We will discuss particularly direct acting sympathomimetics. Let's start the lecture. Learning objectives. At the end of lecture you would be able to define sympathomimetics and you should know what are direct acting sympathomimetics. You should know how to classify direct acting sympathomimetics, what are their mechanisms of action, how they exert their different effects on different systems of the body, what are their therapeutic uses and adverse effects. Before starting our today's topic, I would like you all to please quickly revise with me some basic things about sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is also called thoracolumbar outflow that extends between T1 to L5. Most of the sympathetic ganglia are located in prevertebral chain along the spinal cord. There are two types of sympathetic fibers: preganglionic sympathetic fibers and postganglionic sympathetic fibers. Preganglionic fibers are usually short and the postganglionic sympathetic fibers are long. The primary neurotransmitter is norepinephrine, except thermoregulatory sweat glands, in which the postganglionic sympathetic fibers release acetylcholine. As you all know that sympathetic nervous system basically activate in a situation of fight or flight. If you see a very scary or a very big bear is standing in front of you and you are in a situation of stress, then our sympathetic nervous system activate. So sympathetic system is related to fight or flight. These are some important terminologies related to sympathetic nervous system. Adrenergic, the nerve endings that release norepinephrine as their primary neurotransmitters are called adrenergics. Adrenoreceptors, a receptor that binds and is activated by one of the catecholamines, either by norepinephrine, epinephrine or dopamine. These receptors are called adrenoreceptors. There are three types of adrenergic receptors: alpha receptors, beta receptors and dopamine receptors. Alpha receptors are of two types. Adrenergic receptors. Now we will quickly revise where these adrenergic receptors are located. Alpha 1 receptors, they are basically stimulatory and they are located in the arterioles of skin and mucosa, abdominal viscera, renal vessels, skeletal muscles, coronary and pulmonary arterioles. They are also present, alpha 1 receptors are also present in the radial muscles of the iris. Next class of adrenergic receptor is called beta receptor. The beta 1 receptors are stimulatory in nature. Beta 2 receptors are inhibitory in nature. Postsynaptically, the third class of adrenergic receptors are dopamine receptors. Dopa 1 receptors are located in the peripheral blood vessels. They are present in the renal, coronary, cerebral, splanchnic vessels and they cause vasodilation. D2 receptors are present presynaptically and in the central nervous system and they cause increased motor activity. D3 receptors are present in the limbic system of the brain. And here we quickly revise how the neurotransmitter is synthesized, neurotransmitter that are related to sympathetic nervous system. As you all know that tyrosine enters into the nerve terminal, where in the presence of tyrosine hydroxylase enzyme, tyrosine is converted into dopa. So I hope now you have a crystal clear concept of sympathetic nervous system. Now we will start our today's topic, that is sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics are basically drugs that facilitate or mimic the actions of sympathetic nervous system. They are also called adenomimetics or adrenergic agonists. As you all know, what are agonists? Agonists are basically drugs or substance which activate the sympathetic nervous system and produce the effect which resembles. This diagram shows how the mode of action of sympathomimetics, how sympathomimetics act. Some drugs act by direct mode. They directly bind or attach with the adrenoreceptors, activate them and show their effects, while some drugs act indirectly. There are two mechanisms involved. There may be displacement of stored catecholamines from the adrenergic nerve endings, for example amphetamine and tyramine, while they may act indirectly by causing inhibition of reuptake of catecholamines that is already released. So when there is no reuptake of catecholamines by the alpha 2 adrenergic receptors which are present in the presynaptic membrane, the catecholamines norepinephrine or epinephrine remain in the synaptic cleft. They bind with the adrenoreceptor and they show their maximum effects. Examples are cocaine or tricyclic antidepressants. The third type is that act both by direct mechanism or indirect mechanism. For example, dopamine act like this way, and they also activate the adrenoreceptor and show their effect, leading to produce some or all of the characteristics effect of endogenous catecholamines. So if we summarize, we can say that sympathomimetic drugs act by three mechanisms. Either they act directly, they directly bind or attach with the adrenoreceptors and show their effects, or they act indirectly. They may cause displacement of stored catecholamines, or they may cause inhibition of reuptake of catecholamines. So they act indirectly by this way. And the third type is are those that act both by direct and indirect mechanism. For example, dopamine. So this diagram, chemistry of sympathomimetic drugs. Direct acting sympathomimetics are basically, we divide them into two classes, catecholamines and non-catecholamines. As the name indicates, catecholamines are those that contain catechol ring, while non-catecholamines are those that do not have any catechol ring. Classification. We can classify sympathomimetic drugs on the basis of their chemical structure. As I have already told you that on the basis of chemical structure, we divide them into two classes, catecholamines and non-catecholamines. And non-catecholamines includes phenylephrine, ephedrine, amphetamines, amphetamine sulfate or aspartate, dextroamphetamine sulfate, methamphetamine, pamolene, methylphenidate hydrochloride. We can also classify sympathomimetics on the basis of difference in their mechanism of action. Some act directly, so directly acting on adrenergic receptors, they include. Thirdly, sympathomimetic drugs can also classify on the basis of their receptor selectivity. Number one, those acting on alpha receptors, drugs that are alpha 1 selective, drugs that are alpha 2 selective. Then group B include those drugs that act on beta receptors. Some act on both alpha and beta receptors. Pharmacodynamics. This diagram shows how the agonists that are selective for alpha 1 receptor, how they act. When the agonists that are activation of alpha 2 agonists that are selective for the beta receptors, these beta 2 activation causes increased level of cyclic AMP, which causes the myosin light chain kinase to become phosphorylated and changes into inactive form. So relaxation of smooth muscles occur. Activation of beta receptor. Number 1, activation of adenyl cyclase and conversion of ATP to cyclic AMP, which is the second messenger. Mechanism of action of dopamine receptors. D1 receptors causes stimulation of relative selectivity of adrenoreceptor agonist. Alpha agonist, phenylephrine and methoxamine, they mainly act on alpha 1 receptors and show less activity or selectivity for alpha 2 and beta receptors. Clonidine and methyl norepinephrine, relative selectivity of adrenoreceptors agonist. Beta agonist. Direct acting sympathomimetics. In direct acting sympathomimetics, prototype drug is epinephrine. Other drugs include in this group are norepinephrine and dopamine. Epinephrine act on all alpha and beta receptors. Cardiac effects. Epinephrine has positive inotropic effect, positive chronotropic effect, and positive dromotropic effect on heart. Cardiovascular effects of catecholamines. Small doses of epinephrine like 0.1 microgram to 0.1 microgram per kg may cause fall in the blood pressure due to action on the beta 2 receptors, while in large doses epinephrine causes increased blood pressure, increase in systolic blood pressure as well as increase in diastolic blood pressure. So the effect of epinephrine on the cardiovascular system is dose dependent. If we give epinephrine in small doses, it causes fall in blood pressure due to action on beta 2 receptors, while if we give epinephrine in large doses, it causes both increase in systolic as well as in diastolic blood pressure. Epinephrine increases blood pressure by 3 mechanisms: by direct myocardial stimulation called positive inotropic effect, by increasing heart rate called positive chronotropic effect, vasoconstriction, especially precapillary resistance vessels of the skin, mucosa and kidney. Vascular effect. The chief action of epinephrine on small arterioles, precapillary sphincters and veins to some extent. Actions are pillar of skin of hands and feet, blood flow to skeletal muscle increase due to beta 2 dependent vasodilation. Ocular effect. In eye, epinephrine causes dilation of pupil due to contraction of radial muscles of the eye, so accommodation is preserved. There is fall of intraocular pressure due to improved drainage of the aqueous humor. In eye, alpha 1 receptors are located in the radial muscles of the iris where they cause mydriasis. They increases the drainage and outflow of the aqueous humor. In respiratory system, dilation of bronchial smooth muscles occur by the activation of the beta 2 receptors, but the effect is most evident when bronchial smooth muscles are contracted, like in a state of asthma. When patient is in acute phase of asthma, then this effect can be more appreciated. Beta 2 receptors are located in the bronchial smooth muscle and cause dilation of bronchial smooth muscles. So they are beta 2 receptors are basically cause bronchodilation. They cause inhibition of antigen induced release of inflammatory mediators from the mast cells. Genitourinary system. Contraction of sphincters due to alpha receptor activation, because alpha receptors are located in the sphincter where they cause contraction. Alpha 1 receptors are located in the prostate. They cause relaxation of the detrusor muscle, so no retention of the urine. They cause relaxation of the uterine muscles during pregnancy. These alpha 1 receptors are located in the urethra and internal sphincter. Beta 2 receptors are located in the detrusor muscles, and these are M3 receptors are located in the this bladder, where they cause contraction, while beta 2 receptors are located in the detrusor muscle and they cause relaxation. This is the picture of whole bladder. GIT, hyperpolarization by beta agonist causes relaxation. Reduce acetylcholine release by the presynaptic alpha 2 agonist at enteric nervous system. Relaxation occur and decrease salt and water flux into the lumen. While their effects on the exocrine glands are they decrease amylase and water in the salivary secretion, increase sweating during stress. Effect on the salivary gland, they regulate the secretion of water and amylase. Apocrine sweat glands. Apocrine sweat glands are located on the palms of hands and other areas. These are non-thermoregulatory glands associated with psychological stress. Increased sweats due to adrenergic stimulation. So this kind of sweating occur in a state of stress because they are non-thermoregulatory glands. Metabolic effects. They causes increased blood glucose concentration because they cause glycogenolysis, because beta 2 receptors are located in the liver. The beta 2 receptors are located in the metabolic effects. Major metabolic effects are adverse effects. They cause restlessness, throbbing headache. Serious adverse effects are cerebral hemorrhage, cardiac arrhythmias, ischemic heart disease, and pulmonary edema. The second direct sympathomimetic is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is naturally occurring catecholamine, acts on alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors and beta 1 receptors. Norepinephrine increases systolic and diastolic blood pressure and they cause reflex bradycardia. Their metabolic effects are not significant. Like epinephrine, dopamine effects are also dose dependent. Dopamine causes activation of D1 stimulate adenyl cyclase enzyme, so they increases the level of cyclic AMP. They causes vasodilation of renal vessels, leading to increased renal blood flow, increased GFR, and increased sodium excretion. Dopamine is especially useful in the management of low cardiac output associated with compromised renal function. Dopamine is used in cardiogenic shock, hypovolemic shock, where adequate hydration should be maintained. At moderate doses, dopamine stimulate beta 1 receptors. Dopamine causes positive inotropic effect. They increases cardiac output. Tachycardia is less prominent. They cause increased systolic blood pressure, but there is no effect on the diastolic blood pressure. At high concentration, dopamine activates alpha receptors and causes vasoconstriction. When dopamine is used in life-threatening conditions, blood pressure and renal function must be monitored carefully. Therapeutic uses of dopamine. Dopamine is used in cardiogenic and septic shock. But before giving dopamine, hypovolemia must be corrected by giving blood transfusion or plasma or fluids. Dopamine is a drug of choice in shock. It causes increase in blood pressure and cardiac output, and it improves the perfusion to kidney and splanchnic areas. Dopamine is also used in acute renal failure because it increases the renal blood flow. Dopamine is also used in the treatment of severe chronic heart failure in patients with oliguria. Adverse effects of dopamine. An overdose produces same effect as that of sympathetic stimulation. It causes nausea, vomiting, anginal pain, chest tightness, tachycardia, arrhythmias, headache, and hypertension. Dopamine causes decreased renal perfusion. It causes necrosis and sloughing may occur due to leakage. In this case, phentolamine is injected. Next direct acting sympathomimetic drug is dobutamine. Now we will discuss non-catecholamines. General characteristics are that they do not contain catechol ring, they have longer duration of action, and they are orally effective. And the drug of this class is phenylephrine. It is given orally, topically, and it can be given parenterally. It causes activation of alpha 1 receptors, so it causes smooth muscle contraction, blood pressure is increased, peripheral vascular resistance is increased, it causes contraction of iris, dilator muscle, and causes mydriasis. Therapeutic uses. It is used as a nasal decongestant in patients with viral rhinitis and allergic rhinitis, as ocular decongestant in patients with allergic conjunctivitis. It is used to produce mydriasis for ophthalmic examination in which accommodation is preserved. It can be used intravenously for hypotension and in case of shock. Ephedrine, its indirect action is that it causes nasal decongestant and causes hypotension, while its direct effect on the beta 2 receptors it acts directly on the beta 2 receptor and used in bronchial asthma. Pseudoephedrine is used as a decongestant in stress incontinence. Xylometazoline and oxymetazoline, in small doses they are alpha 1 agonist and used as a decongestant. In large doses they are alpha 2 agonist and used in hypotension. Selective beta 2 adrenergic agonist. The short acting includes metoprolol, albuterol, levalbuterol, pirbuterol, terbutaline, bitalterol, and phenolterol. And the long acting includes salmeterol, formoterol, arformoterol, ratodrine, and carmoterol. Albuterol, they are beta 2 selective agonist. They can be given orally and parenterally or by inhalation. It causes smooth muscle relaxation via beta 2 effects. They are used in COPD and in asthma. Their adverse effects are tachycardia, muscle tremors, and nervousness. Alpha 2 selective adrenergic receptor agonist. Clonidine, used in hypertension. Apraclonidine, used in glaucoma. Brimonidine, used have ocular use. Brimonidine is used in glaucoma. Gonfacin, used in ADHD, and methyl-dopa is used in case of hypertension. Clonidine is selective alpha 2 agonist. It reduces the sympathetic outflow from the vasopressor center in the brainstem. It causes activation of presynaptic alpha 2 receptors mainly in the central nervous system. It also binds to midazoline receptors, which may mediate antihypertensive effects. Clonidine pharmacological effects are that clonidine reduces BP by reducing cardiac output. It causes peripheral vascular resistance, and it decreases renal vascular resistance as well. Clonidine is used to treat hypertension. It can be given orally, and it is also available in the form of dermal patch. It is also used for the withdrawal symptoms of tobacco and narcotics. It decreases the craving for tobacco. Clonidine is also used to treat diarrhea associated with diabetes. We can give clonidine to treat hot flashes that occur in case of menopause. Clonidine is also used to treat ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it is also used to treat restless leg syndrome. Methyl-dopa is a very important drug used in pregnancy if the lady has hypertension during pregnancy. It is alpha 2 agonist. It decreases sympathetic outflow. It acts as a false neurotransmitter. It decreases blood pressure chiefly by reducing peripheral vascular resistance, cardiac output, and it reduces the renal vascular resistance.